what you're going to be hearing from is the Dead Man Walking, The Journey Continues. And as Frank said, she'll be here. She's a wonderful storyteller. I also just spent a lovely hour of dining with her, and just to be able to listen to her stories and hear what she has to say, I think you'll find it very entertaining and very informative. So without further ado, because I know we're not here to listen to me, I'd like to bring out Sister Helen Prejean.
Hello. Can y'all understand Southern? Anybody know what andouille is? You're a little vague on that. Crawfish étouffée? Yeah, okay. I am going to tell you stories, because stories are the only way we can share our experiences with each other, to take people into experiences that I know you're never going to have. And the journey that led me there, that's the book I'm writing now. It's called River of Fire, My Spiritual Journey to Death Row. Because believe me, I'm a bona fide nun. I didn't start out being a nun thinking, one day I'll go to death row, and then we'll have a book and a movie and an opera, and I'll really spread the word of Jesus around the world. Believe me, it unfolds like a rose or like a river, and I want to take you through it. I just want to say a little bit, though. The book, Dead Man Walking, the hardback, came out in '93. Big whoop. A Roman Catholic nun writes a book on the death penalty when everybody in the whole country is souping up death chambers. And 2 years after the book came out, Pataki, who was running for governor of New York, put on his platform to bring it back to New York. And you had it for, I don't know how many years, but you spent $200 million, and you had 9 people on death row, and then your Supreme Court overturned it because the statute wasn't constitutional. And I don't believe money is just a neutral issue. Martin Luther King used to say the most moral document you ever look at is a budget. You spent $200 million to keep that machinery of death in place because politics got a hold of it and said to the people in New York, this is what we got to do. And you just think where that $200 million could have gone. Money isn't neutral. If you spend it on a death machine, you're not spending it on at-risk kids or health care or education. You're not doing that. But it's to understand it. So when the book came out, when it was made into a paperback the next year, Susan Sarandon was filming The Client, you know those John Grisham movies, in Memphis. And when you're making a movie, you spend a lot of time in your little trailer. If you're an extra, you don't get a trailer. But the big ones that are doing the main parts do. And a friend of hers, Arlene, had given her Dead Man Walking to read. And I just want to say to the students in here, when you write a book, it has legs. It goes where it wants to go. It's like a child. And you don't have any control over it in that sense. And so it made its way to Susan Sarandon, who, as she read it, and she's reading it and going through and just goes, wow, we need a film in this country that will take people into a much deeper journey on the death penalty. The formula movies that were out all had to do with, in the front part of the film, did the person do it or not? Okay, is he guilty or not? Okay, yeah, if he's guilty, okay. Die in the electric chair, justice is done, end of movie. And she was saying, we got to do deeper reflection than that. She calls me on the phone because she had to come to New Orleans for a couple of days of filming. And she said, Sister Helen, I'd like to meet you. I'm reading your book, and we need a film that's going to be much deeper and all that. And so I said, well, Susan, great to meet you. I'd heard about her through Amnesty International, that she was really strong on human rights. So we go meet at the Bon Ton restaurant. We get this good Cajun food, you know. But I don't know what the lady looks like. So rent Thelma and Louise to see what she looks like. Great idea, great idea. Except the whole movie, I got her mixed up with Gina Davis. So the whole movie, and I'm seeing Gina Davis doing more and more stupid things, and little Brad Pitt, and getting them in trouble with the law, and then they're driving off the cliff. And I'm thinking, I like Louise. And when Susan walked in the restaurant and I took one look, I went, oh, thank you, Jesus, she's Louise. I was really relieved more than anything. And we sat together at a table there at the Bon Temps, and she explained to me about why we need a film. And she said, your book takes you over to both sides. Your book takes you over to the perpetrator who did this unspeakable crime, then the suffering of the victims' families, and it's a journey I'm going to take you on tonight as well. So it took her 9 months to convince Tim Robbins to read the book because he was doing other projects, and she kept saying, did you read the nun's book? No, I didn't read the nun's book. So one night they're walking down the streets of New York, and she takes him by the arm, and she burst into tears. And she said, Tim, if we're not going to do a film of Sister Helen's book, then we need to turn the book over to somebody who will. So probably for domestic tranquility, he goes, okay, I'll read the nun's book, okay. So when he read the book, he saw the potential in it. You know, William Faulkner said when he got the Nobel Prize for Literature, the only thing worth writing is the human heart in conflict with itself. And he saw it, and then he did the screenplay. And then every Hollywood studio turned it down because they could not picture. They go, Tim, dead man walking, that's a downer right there. And then you got a nun in it, so there's like no romantic element between a death row inmate and a nun, unless you like let us spice it up, you know, a bit between the nun and the death row inmate. And Tim's saying, no, it's not about spicing it up. It's a journey of redemption for everybody. And they didn't get it. They couldn't picture it as a box office success. They couldn't picture it as an Academy Award winning film. Polygram Film International in London, who mostly did albums, had only done one successful film, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, took it. It was a low-budget film. Sounded like a lot of money to me, but it was like $12 million. I said, $12 million? Tim, that's a lot, huh? He goes, no, Helen, that's not a lot for a film. And so they shot it in 9 weeks, and then it came out. And Susan got an Academy Award. Bruce Springsteen did the title song. There's an album, an excellent album. Tim sent the rough cut of the film. One time he called me, he said, I must be out of my mind to be doing an album while we're doing the movie. But he sent the rough cut to musicians. Eddie Vedder with Pearl Jam, Johnny Cash, Mary Chapin Carpenter, and they all did original songs. Tom Waits did Troy's Lament from the point of view of a family where the brother had been killed. And then Bruce Springsteen got to perform at the Academy Awards because his was nominated. And 1.3 billion people in the world were watching the Academy Awards. So it took Dead Man Walking and it just pushed it out there on the top of a tsunami wave. And I'm glad, see, because I know when you get that book in people's hands, and a book is a powerful thing, as I found out. For a while, I didn't want to write the book because I thought, you know, people for the death penalty going to read the Rush Limbaugh stuff or whatever about why we got to have it. And the people against the death penalty going to read the Amnesty International. Like, why should I write another book and put it out there? And I didn't know the power of a personal story, of taking people through an experience. And so that's where I want to take you now. I'm going to take you first through the journey in this book, then the second book. See, I keep accompanying people on death row. I've accompanied 6 people to execution, and I'm with 2 people now. Manuel Ortiz in Louisiana, who's innocent, been on death row 18 years. We're just having the hearings to show his innocence. A woman in death row in Texas accused of murdering a baby, and we finally got her good defense and experts to show that it could have been an accident, as Kathy always maintained it was when she was babysitting. And so the death of innocence then takes you deeper into the thing and also get into the courts. I never thought of Supreme Court, Constitution, criminal justice, I never thought of those things before in my life. But when you get immersed in something like this, you're motivated. You learn. When you write a book, you learn. You learn a lot. So the journey of Dead Man Walking, it happened like this. First of all, I came to an understanding that the gospel of Jesus was about a lot more than just being a good nun, praying for people, being charitable to people.
Objection! For the love of humanity and justice, you have lied!
Lady, who are you?
My name is Helen Prejean, and I have faith in humanity and justice. And I can no longer listen to you lie.
Just tell me one lie I said so far.
You have lied about the Gospels of Jesus.
What's
Who here has studied the Bible in a secular manner, as a scholar? Who here has known about the fabrication? The Roman Catholic Inquisition, who was murdered 3,000
I never faced a
innocent
situation like
people.
this before.
You are wrong. I am Holly Prejean. I've been a volunteer counselor as a certified intuitive counselor. I've also had an opportunity to counsel convicts and ex-felons to only see them reoffend.
No, I don't think this is the right
No,
venue for this.
you are speaking about this in a devotional manner to God. We have a constitution that would separate the church from the state.
You would like to stay here.
Yes, you must.
I'm sorry.
I cannot
that
allow
we
this to happen
disagree
because
so
you are showing
profoundly.
favoritism. I'm seeing solicitation of Roman Catholicism posted on our billboards. You do not know, but no, this is wrong. This is unjust. This is a weird story. Just let me read this.
Holly,
Just let me read this about the realities of what these criminals say. Not her book.
Holly.
No, because you don't want the truth. You want the truth? Hey, this is not right.
Holly, I'm
You're not
sorry.
exposing all the realities of criminal justice.
Holly.
For the love of humanity and justice, get the facts. Get the facts. Critical thinking, inductive reasoning, logic. You're all nice.
I thought you was somebody from the drama department. No, but just out of respect for somebody who feels that deeply about truth not being told to stand up in a group like this, you know, to have respect for her, truly. I'm sorry it ended that way.